Welcome to Awakening Wednesday, to the enlightenment of all that is. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. So it is in this very moment that we take the breath to be still and know that the divine presence is right here. That in this very breath that we are breathing, it is the presence of Spirit as we welcome in this absolute magnificent day of newfound awareness. So we breathe this breath. We rest in this moment, letting everything else go and standing in the stillness of Spirit. Oh, yeah. Be still and know I am God. Be still and know I am. Be still and know I am God. Be still and know. I want to thank you for joining us tonight in this divine celebration of all that is. And tonight we're going to dive into enlightenment. And before that, I'm going to bring forth this other song just for you. Don't you love technology? It's amazing. In my pain, there inside my weakness is the seed of something greater in me, and the shame of not choosing higher, all the disappointing moments fade into God. No mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail in God all fade. All fades into God. No choice, a prisoner of anguish in a jail of I'm so lonely, a jail of all is lost, but the stars are shining to remind us a seed needs the darkness to change into new life. No mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail in God all fade. It all fades into God. Yeah. Yeah. In God is the gravity that holds me together. In God is the orbit in which I am spinning. I see the stars and I remember remember inside my pain is the seed of my strength. In God is the gravity that holds me together. In God is the orbit in which I am spinning. I see the stars and I remember inside my pain is the seed of my strength. God is my life. In God all is excellent. All the ways that we seem to fail, in God all fade. It all fades into God. No mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail, in God all fade. It all fades into God. Oh, it all fades into God. Oh, we have some wonderful new help in the house tonight, along with the wonderful Sarah Adams tonight. We have Nathan Zigarelli, Bob Mott. I caught it. Yeah, Bob is the virgin in the house tonight. And we're sending much love to our beloved Linda. She couldn't be here tonight, but you know she's always with us in spirit. And so just holding her in yummy love. So tonight we are talking about enlightenment. And I thought it was just really timely because the Reverend Kevin, was talking about that on Sunday. And so I wanted to follow up. It inspired me to bring forth this divine time for us to talk about enlightenment. So let us get ready to bring me on as the panel tonight, just for you. All right. So here we are talking about enlightenment. You know, enlightenment is one of those things that early on in my spiritual walk, you hear the stories of Jesus, of Buddha, and, you know, the talk is about their enlightenment. And so it appears to be this journey that is something that you are striving. I'll say, for me, it was this journey that I thought, oh, I'm striving for this enlightenment. I'm striving to reach this point in my life of my spiritual practice, my spiritual awareness, my spiritual understanding. And from time to time, I would check in and see, you know, how you doing? So I kept hitting these notches of, nope, you haven't reached enlightenment yet. At the same time, my awareness for alignment was starting to deepen and what that meant, and not this destination of a place that I was looking for. I want to read one of these quotes to you. It said, "The word enlightenment conjures up the idea of some superhuman accomplishment, and the ego likes to keep it that way, but it's simply your natural state of felt oneness with being."
by Eckhart Tolle. When I read that, I was like, what? Because that was a game changer for me. It meant that for me, enlightenment is something that I can actually participate in daily from moment to moment. I remember listening to something from Abraham Hicks. I'm a big fan of Abraham. And someone was asking the question about enlightenment and Jesus and the Buddha and all the great avatars that have gone before us. And in essence, Abraham said, if someone gives you a certificate saying that you are enlightened, you better give it back. You better run. Because unlike college, unlike school, there is no diploma for enlightenment, because enlightenment is constantly ever unfolding. And my enlightenment does not have to be your enlightenment. One of the other statements, enlightenment is growing all the time. It is not something that happens once and then is completed. And it didn't have the author. But I thought, wow, how beautiful. Something that is growing. You know, in a lot of the Eastern spirituality and teachings, it is almost as though there is this road that you are to get on to arrive at enlightenment, to reach this point of divine oneness. And for me, a lot of that meant that, well, sometimes then I'm not on the road. So what does that mean? I'm not an enlightened being. What am I? I'm a hood rat? I don't know. What? And so all of this was coming up as I'm looking at our beautiful world right now. And I do say beautiful. All of the things that are taking place, and especially in parts where we have been mandated, in a sense, to stay home, that separation once again, disconnecting. I thought, oh my God, the world is reaching for a greater enlightenment. Now, we all have our different places where we're meeting that, but I thought, wow, the world, it's not just the United States or Canada, it's the entire globe is reaching for this enlightenment of a new way of living, a new way of being, a new awareness of who we are. Who we are. I forgot, I was looking at myself. I should be looking at you. I think it's all the beautiful gold. I love that. It's so beautiful. So, in recognizing that, oh my goodness, the world, this entire globe is calling forth for enlightenment. One of the lines that I love in that song, which was by Ricky Byers, says that the seed needs the darkness in order to change into new life. That's a powerful line. We are the seeds right now. And for some of us may feel that we are in total darkness. Some may feel that Armageddon is breaking loose. But I am one that feels that this time that I've chosen to be here, I'm very excited that I'm here in this time as I am understanding, for me, my enlightenment is a daily dose of connecting with Source and recognizing that. And then being able to practice that so that what I bring out to the world right now, because it's calling for all of us, it's calling for us to bring our greatness. And granted, my greatness doesn't look like yours, and it doesn't make one right or one wrong. It's the beauty of who and what we are, our nature, is our differences. Our nature is this magnificent, blissful space that we're in. So I was looking at some of the things about enlightenment, and they really focused a lot saying that enlightenment came into awareness out of our French colonies, that superstition, they called it superstition, ignorance of religion, the government being able to control the people or through a conversation that was stating that you yourself were not enough, that you needed this organism, you needed this governmental space, you needed something outside of you. And I think most of the time I have found in my life that anytime something outside of me says it has the answers for me, it usually wants to control me. I've had a couple of relationships like that. And there was great growth in that for me to recognize. And so the journey of enlightenment, I've come to this space that there have been times, there's one time in particular that I remember. I was hiking in Temescal Canyons in Malibu. And I was hiking with my little dog. And there was some fur of something all scattered along the ground. Whatever happened, it did not win. And I remember thinking, oh my God, because they would have signs periodically telling you about the mountain lions. I was like, oh my God, I got my little dog. He thinks he's King Kong. And I went into this state of fear for a moment. And so I was torn between, do I continue to walk or do I get my booty out of this canyon? And just as I looked up, off from a distance were all these amazing flowers. And in that moment, I realized that all of our colors come from flowers and nature. And it was this moment that filled my heart with so much bliss and joy that I started to cry. Because I'd never looked at nature like that. But there was this moment that nature and this is what I feel I saw the flowers dancing for me. I saw them waving, and I thought, oh my God, how amazing is that? That these flowers, this nature has come forward to show us color. And as I walked towards it, I was just weeping with awe. And I have later learned, because that moment comes back to me periodically, in such full remembrance, I feel the way I felt. I feel the air on my cheek. I feel the presence. And I have come to understand that in that moment, the enlightenment of all of spirit was flowing through me. And you know, we have these moments all the time. And so the other day when this hit, and I was like, oh my God, that is an enlightenment. For me, I'm starting to recognize that this journey of striving for this divine spiritual connection is something that I do all the time. But my practice sometimes gets a little hazy because life happens. And so although I do believe that contrast, problems, troubles, whatever you want to call it, that they are for my good, sometimes when they come up, there's no good I can see. I only see the problem. And absolutely when I'm in that space, enlightenment is not unfolding, but it does not mean that I'm not an enlightened spirit, soul. Because, as Eckhart Tolle said, it's our natural state. So then I am always an enlightened being. You are always an enlightened being. It's only if we are practicing that. And the more we practice it, the more you recognize it, the more you feel it, the more you see it. So I was sharing this beautiful insight. Sometimes what happens with me is when something hits me and strikes my heart, I want to share it with my friends that are close. I want to, let me, So one of my friends, I know that sometimes, and I had to laugh at myself afterwards, because of the list of people that I could have shared that with, he was the absolute last person that I probably should have shared that with. So I did. I called him and I shared this moment of bliss, of just absolute connection. And the first thing he said, well, Gino, I'm going to say this. You don't change. And I said, well, what does that mean? You and your optimism, it just doesn't change. The world is going to hell, but you talking about some flowers and spirit and God. And I was like, well, do you not believe in source, light, God, whatever you call it anymore? And he said, I'm questioning. I'm questioning because the world is in such a space that I don't know what to do. So my question was, are you trying to fix the world? He said, we need answers. We need answers. We don't need some rose-colored glasses, some I feel good. We don't need that. I said, so what do you think we need? We need answers, Gino. I said, well, where do you think the answers are going to come from? Well, we need better people in government. We need teachers that will do this. And he just went down a list. We need people that are... And I said, well, where do you play at in that? I'm just one person. It's amazing how when we think we have no control, we become, I'm just one person. I can't do it all. And so I sat there quiet for a moment, thinking, is this moment of awe, is this remembrance of enlightenment, of alignment, is it enough? Is it enough to change what I see or what I choose to change in the world? And so as he was going on with his tirade of all the things that weren't going right, when he stopped, I said, I think that me feeling good is enough. I think that when we can align ourselves with whatever our call is, I said, you don't have to have, as you call me, rose-colored glasses. But when you can believe in something greater than you can connect yourself for your call, because something is calling you. That's why the frustration, that's why the fear. Something's calling you. I've been called. I don't know the direct way to get there, or if I take a left, if I take a right, but I have come to this place to know that connecting to things that feel good lead me to solutions and answers that open up my world to a greater space of being. Being worried, having hatred and fear in my heart only lead me to more of that. So he said, how can you do that? How can you do that in the world that we're living in today? I said, I believe that everything that's happening in this day is for us to rise up and to connect with something new, whatever that is for you, to shine a light on the world that you are calling forth. Because your world doesn't affect my world. And he said, well, what about if I want to blow up? What if I want to blow up some people? What if I just want to blow up the White House? I said, you know, people always go to the anger card, to the fear card. People that blow up and shoot up people are in pain. They're hurting. And trying to find an answer in pain and hurt only leads to more pain and hurt. So I have to be diligent in my work. I have to be diligent in my prayer work. Diligent in my awareness that this time and space on the world is not an accident. It's on target. It is, we will see in our history books, I believe, the greatest time of enlightenment that has happened thus far. It will surpass, if there's such a thing, as Jesus and Buddha roaming the land. Because the call that's being put out right now, this universal call, and with technology has allowed us to be together, to know what's happening in the United States as well as I can know what's happening in Africa or in the UK. So this time here, we're creating history. Some of us will choose to shoot, to hurt, but most of us will choose to inspire. Most of us right now are doing more things in the world than people know. People are helping their neighbors. People are reaching out to children through programs. People are reaching out to people to say, hey, how can I be of assistance? There is much good that's happening right now. The chaos, which is, I think of it, when we're in the darkness, as the seed, like the line in that song says, the darkness has covered the seed in order for it to nourish itself, to hold root. We have an opportunity, those of us that understand that the enlightenment that is within you, you are nourishing that right now. This is the time to practice the feeling of being connected with everything that is. This is that time. And it does require diligence. Is it something that we'll do every day? I don't think I know I don't do it every day. There are some days that things come up and I'm like, "Blah." But because I do practice and it is something that I'm aware of, I don't stay in blah for now, not 2-3 hours. I realize the importance of feeling good. It's important to feel good. It's important to be connected for me. When I'm in a state of worry and doubt, that feeling now has become so uncomfortable that I choose to either sit my butt down and meditate, or read, or play music, or call someone that I know will know the truth for me at that moment. I choose to take that step. That's a big step in understanding the value of feeling good. I want to feel good more than I want to be right. That's a big thing. One of my cousins would say, Gina, you think you know everything. I go, I'm glad you agree. But we find that our ego pushes us. Just like the ego that said, in order to become an enlightened spirit, this was something that would take our lifetime or never. This superhuman. But when you start to contemplate that this is your natural state of being, that you have times throughout your day when you just drop into source, something happens. I remember a year ago, or maybe it was about 3 years ago, I was in Seattle and I was walking down this long pathway of just, Seattle's beautiful. It just rained all the doggone time, or misting. Not even rain, it's just misting, but it's beautiful. And I was contemplating life, my life. What am I going to do? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? You know the questions that come up. Not paying attention to where I was walking, I bumped into this little girl. She had to be about maybe 6 or 7. And I bumped into her and I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And she started laughing. It was so funny to her. She said, you weren't looking. I said, you're right. I wasn't looking. And she just thought that was so funny. And so her mother is looking at her. She's like, Mommy, she wasn't looking. and I said, yes, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't looking. And the laughter in this little girl, it flipped me just that quick. That whatever her mom, I don't know if her mom told her, look where you're going or not, but it was funny to her. And her laughter reminded me of laughter. And as I walked away from them, this laughter that started like, you need to watch where you're going, I started to look up and see all of the beauty, the beautiful nature that was around me. And within probably 15 minutes, I had shifted into another awareness. So as we look out at our world today, and being in Southern California, we're on lockdown again, and I know there are other places that are on lockdown. I did see that our first COVID-19 vaccine was done in the UK to a 90, well, there are two stories. One said she was 90, one said she was 93. Either way. And there was this huge smile on her face, and she said, this is the greatest birthday anybody could have given me. So as we look out in our world and we see all of the change that's taken place, recognize that change happens every day. And this change doesn't have to kick you out of the joy of spirit. It doesn't have to limit your joy. The fact that you're at home right now, that we can't go out to a restaurant. I love that Reverend Kevin talked about on Sunday that this is a time for some silence. How great it is that in this holiday time where the hustle and bustle becomes so important, that in the midst of buying gifts, you see parents yelling and screaming at their kids, shut up! It's like, oh my God, this is supposed to be Christmas. But now, because we are on lockdown, all of that, for right now, has lessened. People are giving thanks for being able to see their grandmother or their aunt or their grandfather that they hadn't seen or they couldn't go visit for Thanksgiving, and they're being able to see them on Zoom or on FaceTime, appreciating this moment that they get to see their loved ones. or to see a newborn baby that has come that they haven't been able to go to the hospital and be present. But they get to see this new life. And when you see a newborn, you don't think, I don't think, I know I don't think like, oh my God, why are you in this world? It's going to hell. I think, oh my God, thank you for coming. Thank you for shedding and shining your light on us. You've come to expand us. Thank you. So in this time of silence, that we have this beautiful opportunity to recognize your enlightenment. Recognize the times throughout the day that you may hit enlightenment for a moment here or for half a second there. But it's happening. You see something that makes you smile. You know, this, I used to think of enlightenment as this big mountain, this big mountain that had to be climbed. But as I've taken the journey, I understand more and more that it's never been a big mountain. That was a story that was told. As always, the beauty of who we are is our natural nature. We can't get away from it. And when you see people in so much pain that they want to reach out and hurt someone else, is because they have forgotten that everything within you, that you are beautiful, no matter who you are, where you are. You're on purpose. So we have this time now to look at how enlightenment is affecting our life, how we are in alignment with spirit throughout our day. I love to play games with myself. And so I play this game of, sometimes I'm walking, I'm trying to get my 10,000 steps in 3-4 times a week now. So that gives me great opportunity to be out, to see people with my mask on, And it also gives me the greatest opportunity to stop and go, oh, where's God in this? Where is my connection with Source? What am I thinking right now? What am I feeling right now? Sometimes I notice that the thoughts that I was thinking and feeling were thoughts of worry or concern. Sometimes they were thoughts of, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. It was just this motor that was running. And with that motor running, I wasn't in the flow. You know, I'm a huge sports fan. And when you see an athlete in the flow, it is one of the most beautiful things. There is such a symmetry to their movement, to every movement that they make. Sometimes it's mind-boggling how they could do it because there's a flow. And in order to be in that flow, that is alignment, that is enlightenment, that is connection. And we all have that. Each and every one of us. Whether you're sitting at home, you can have that flow sitting in your chair. You can feel the dance of spirit flowing through you, pumping your heart, breathing in and through you. Just giving thanks for this breath that has been taken. So I know we have a few more weeks that we're going to be in this silence. You can spend it worrying, regretting, fearful, or you can decide that you're going to dance with spirit. that you're going to dance in the alignment of spirit. I am definitely a person that I meet people very easily. And just yesterday, I was coming out of the store, and there was a lady coming with 4 dogs. There were 2 in a little cart that she was pulling, and 2 doodles of some kinds, a snickerdoodle, a dollar doodle. You know, they're all adorable. It was a there were 2 doodles as well. And I just said, I smiled. And as soon as I smiled, I said, oh, they're beautiful. And she stopped. And the conversation was on. And I was like, oh, because we want connection, and I understand. So I was like, okay. And we were our social distance. So she's explaining to me the journey of the dogs and how they have impacted her life. She was fearful to have 4 dogs that were not hers. Now, her story is that none of these dogs were hers. They were her best friend who made her transition. And she took all 4 of the dogs. The 2 little ones in the cart, one was looked like a Shih Tzu, and the other was a little terrier. And they were all one of the doodle dogs that was dark skinned came over to me and gave me some doggy love. And so she felt like, oh, he doesn't do that all the time. You must be somebody with a really nice spirit. So I just start laughing. I go, well, thank you. And she says, and I was like, oh, and we must continue. And so as we stood there, and she went through this list of things that she wanted to share about the dogs and taking care of them, and rampant conversations that would come in about her bank, and they didn't want the dogs to come in, and then the dog pooped in the bank, and I thought, wow, how many times are our thoughts like this, where they're just shooting things all over the place, all over the place. And finally I said, I want to thank you. It was great to share this time with you. And she turned and said, thank you for taking the time. And that's one of the things, taking the time. Taking the time to connect yourself daily. I know sometimes I be telling God, I don't have time. I'm running late. I do not have the time right now, God. You're going to have to deal with it. Thank God there is no God that's judging. But I thought, if it takes 2 minutes just to go, I know the presence of God is here. That takes no time. I know the presence of God is here. I know the presence of God is here. So while we're in this cocoon, while our seeds are in the darkness, to give birth to new life. I just love that. To new life. Don't look out at the chaos and think the chaos is running you. It can only run you if you give it the time. But when you give source the time, when you give the acknowledgement that there's a divine power the time, there's so many wonderful things that will open and unfold for you. For me, for us. I have to give a big thank you to this amazing community, Universal Spirit Center. Just recently, some of you may know I had a birthday. And on my birthday, one of the things I love to do is let people leave their voice messages or texts, I won't answer because I want to listen to it. I want to hear it. I want to be able to go back and listen to it in those moments that when I forget to take the time. And so I have been blessed by this community in so many ways. The wonderful people that I work with, everyone, the choir, Linda, Sarah, well, I better say everybody's name, Sarah, Dormini, Bob, Tim, Otis, and Chris, Pat. Lord, I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. But they gave me a beautiful special gift. Financially, it was fantastic, but the card is something that I go back and read. The loving notes that were sent on the card. And one of the things that put me in an awe state for my birthday was really the comments that were made about me. People that, my family and friends that text me, that left messages, and family and friends that left messages for me on Facebook. There was this common thread that went through that I was like, wow, is that how people see me? And it was a moment that I sat there just feeling this space of love, this journey that I have been on, this awareness of what I have given birth to. It was reflected back to me, and I could see it. So I thank you all for your love, for opening your arms and heart to me. When we find ourselves in a space, sometimes we feel we're alone. Sometimes we feel we haven't done enough. Know that you are a giver of God. And you have been giving. You have been growing. You have been expanding. You have been. And if you feel that you have not given enough, it's never too late. You see, enlightenment is your natural state of being. So it's always there, and it's always available to you. So I'll leave you with this. These are the 7 factors of awakening. Mindfulness, to maintain awareness. Mindfulness. This is something that recognizing all of the beautiful things that were said about me, there was an awareness that hit me that of the journey that I've taken to get to that point. Has it all been roses and tulips? Nope. But I found that even on the roses with the thorns, when I trust, it doesn't hurt as much. Investigation, I love this. Investigation, the nature of reality. So we get to daily investigate our nature of who and what we are and how we're showing up. Everything comes back to us. We have complete control over who and what we are and how we see our world. Energy, effort. That's a little double-edged sword for me because I'm awakening more every day that the well-being of the universe is so effortless. It's just like, bam! It just, you don't see the wind stirring up to blow. It just does it. I mean, it just simply does it. I have sat and watched I thought grass grow, and I still never saw how it grew. I was like, what? I missed it. What happened? The ease of the universe. And that ease is in your life as well. But that's something I believe, and I know for myself, I had to start practicing. Practice, what does that feel like? What does well-being feel like? It's like, wow. Joy or rapture? Woo! Inner joy. There's a song that I want you to have joy, because can't nobody take that away from you. That's beyond happiness. Inner joy is something that is within you. And no one, when you have that, no one, no thing can take it. Relaxation and tranquility. Sometimes I forget the balance. We have to have balance in our life. It's important that we have time to unplug, to relax, to just be whatever that is for you. Concentration. Now this says concentration, calm, one-pointed state of mind or clear awareness. As I mentioned earlier with the sweet lady that I met, her conversation was here, there. Sometimes when we're not focused on practicing something, we're all over the board on trying to do everything. So concentration. And, oh, wait a minute, did I? No, okay. That's it. It has been a joy to be here with you today to share enlightenment, to have this open conversation about enlightenment, to hopefully strike some new possibilities. My question was, is the world ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to take your role in enlightenment for you, for your life, for your dreams, for your reflection of the greatness that you are? I hope so. But no, you can never be anything but magnificent, because that's who and what we are. I want to thank you so much for being here with us today on Awakening Wednesday. Please join us next Wednesday. It's Kitchen Conversations, and we have a really great guest that'll be in the house with us. I'm excited to have them. So we're getting ready for our conscious giving time now. Thank you.
For your attention, for your love. We love you. I love you. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Joy, joy, joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. the peace wash over each and every one of us. We let, oh, we let it be. Let the love fill it. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. I'm so glad you joined me tonight. You know, the Rev will be in the house on Sunday, so we'll see you on Facebook, YouTube, and of course our webpage. Please check our webpage. There's a lot of amazing things that are going on. The Racial Equality Project, we have our own page on the web page of all the things that you can support, especially now there are a lot of black-owned businesses that you can deliver for food and all of that. So there are different companies that support Black Lives Matter. There's a lot of wonderful things going on. There are classes that will be coming up in the new year. I know January is right around the corner. And of course, as we get ready for our beautiful Christmas Eve service, I'm sending so much love and blessings to you. Thank you for being here tonight. And I will see you next week on Kitchen Conversations. Peace and blessings, my angels.